Chimera is delighted to bring you some of Scotland's most exciting new voices in our Brave New Words reading. Herman is an Edinburgh-based fantasy author. His first novel, Love Bites, is a queer supernatural love story that was published in 2020. The sequel, Bleeding Hearts, is due to come out in just a few days. His reading takes place in front of the astronomy section at Blackwell's bookshop, as one of the book's main characters, Angela, is an astrophysicist. Angela has been having some difficulties reconciling her scientific point of view with the fact that she's been turned into a vampire and her friend Mike is a werewolf.
Angela buckles herself into the passenger seat, and Mike pulls the Corolla out into the sparse traffic. Outside, a bleak landscape of concrete walls, beige buildings, and gray dirt rolls by. As beautiful as Angela finds the desert outside the city boundaries, most of downtown Phoenix looks like a cinder-block termite mound. "You must be an enormous wolf," she says. His eyes flick over to her before returning to the road. "What makes you say that?" "Well, you have to weigh what? 200 pounds, give or take? That'd be huge." "Nope, I'm a normal-sized wolf." Angela frowns. "Do you get especially dense or something? Like you're not big, but you still weigh as much as a person?" "Not really." "Gah!" Angela can't keep the disgust out of her voice. "That makes no fucking sense. Where does the mass go? Mass doesn't just disappear. You should be causing nuclear explosions every time it happens." She crosses her arms and glares out at the drab scenery. The dull colors are now at least occasionally interrupted by motionless palm trees or patches of tough-looking grass in the center divider. The growling hum of 18-wheelers fills the car for a few seconds as they pass over I-10, then fades away as they leave the freeway behind. "Maybe the mass goes into another universe," Mike says. She turns back to look at him. "What does that even mean? You might as well be saying it goes to Narnia." "That kind of is what I'm saying." "All right then, what's the mechanism by which it travels to this other universe? How does it work? Where does the energy to make the transfer come from?" "I suppose you have a point." "And," she continues, her voice rising, "what happens to the muscle and fat you're sending there? Is it the meat universe? Are there piles of meat lying around? Are there people living there and every now and then a big mess of werewolf guts lands on their heads?" "You seem really angry about this." "Yes," she shouts. "Obviously. You don't make sense. I don't make sense. Why don't I have a reflection? What if you were on Venus where there isn't any moon? None of it makes sense because we are some kind of unscientific bullshit." She slams her fist into the glove compartment, leaving a dent in the plastic she imagines she'll regret later, and slumps back in her seat. Suddenly exhausted, she closes her eyes. "Thinking about it too deeply never helped me a whole lot," Mike says. "I was born this way, and at some point I figured, okay, this is me." "Different childhoods, maybe," she murmurs. "I was forced to accept all kinds of things without question growing up. I rebelled against that pretty hard." After a moment, Angela cracks her left eye back open. "Wait, you were born a werewolf? You didn't get bitten?" "No. The children of werewolves are always werewolves. You can catch it from a bite too, but I didn't. My family's very careful about that kind of thing." "Oh, well, good to know." She watches the street signs as they pass, trying to get a sense of how much further they have left to go. The city is greener north of the freeway, with aloes, creosote, and cottonwood trees adding their color to the palms. The desert plants look strange under the orange glare of the streetlights, alien creatures crouching in wait. Beyond the foliage, an endless succession of strip mall parking lots unfolds to the horizon. "What's it like being a werewolf?" Angela asks. "Do you have a pack? Is there an alpha?" "I have a family. The whole alpha male thing is a myth based on shoddy research from the 1940s. "So is anyone in charge, or is it more like my mom?" "Really? Why?" A wry smile slips onto Mike's face. "You wouldn't be asking that if you'd ever met my mom." He glances at her sidelong. "The scientific consensus can change, right? Like the alpha wolf thing. You can always get new information. Isn't that the whole point of science?" "Sure," she agrees. "But there's a big difference between wolves are more complicated than we thought, and everything we know about light, energy, and matter is not only incomplete, but totally wrong. It takes away our whole basis for understanding the universe." "And what if it does?" She fingers the dent she left in the panel in front of her, then brings her hand away and puts it in her lap. That's a question I've been wrestling with every day for years now. They lapse back into silence.